Incoming call from Ministry of Science.
Irreligionist, Jow Silver, sorry to cut short your secular celebration of bunny and eggs, but the Ministry of Science has need of you once again. The ham has taken to the interweb to spread his insanity to the masses. Fortunately, he's relegated to the relatively obscure website Answers in Genesis. We need you to find out just what kind of answers he has. And to help, we've enlisted the aid of another part-time hero. Her name is Emmy. Super.
In the great hall of the Justice League
are the two heroes known as the Irreligionist and Jow Silver.
Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Sorry. All right, welcome to the 4th issue of the Watchtower Power Hour. Today we have myself, the Irreligionist, Jow Silver, and special superhero guest, Emmy.
Oh wow, I'm special. Like I didn't know, but...
Special needs.
Yep, well, I am special.
Comparatively speaking, special, yes.
Yep.
More special than Joe.
That is true. I'm pretty mediocre.
Awesome. That's his superpower, mediocrity. He can be middling. It's great. All right, so we're going to take a look at this awesome article called Can We Prove God Without the Bible? It is an Answers in Genesis original. So, totally original piece of fiction we're about to read. Is there such a thing as a neutral starting point for evaluating God's existence? Should we try to prove the Bible or let it speak for itself? Did you want to read the little excerpt?
Do your evil atheist impression.
Ooh, my evil atheist impression. That's good. Have I ever done one of those?
Just do your best Hitchens impersonation.
I used to be a devout. No, I'm not gonna do a Hitchens impersonation. I can't bring myself to blaspheme the great vocal tones of Daddy. Okay.
I used to be a devout Christian, attending church regularly, and have been confirmed. However, since doing exams, I have questioned my beliefs, resulting in my denouncement of God.
Not disbelief, but denouncement.
What did I say?
Kind of point that out. No, you said it right. I'm saying he said it wrong. He said his denouncement of God, like not that I don't believe in God, not a disbelief in God, but a denouncement of saying that.
Oh,
I don't like God. I don't want God. That's markedly different than saying that he does not believe. But
maybe he means he denounced his belief in God.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's probably a new thing, and he's still using the Christian lingo. It kind of bleeds over.
Well, I mean, I still say bless you when people sneeze, but I don't think that means that like I'm like ready to get down on my knees.
It's science, bless you. I actually did say that to my friend once.
Oh yes. My main reason for this is that I cannot find any proof to verify his existence. When I ask people, they always refer me to the Bible as a be-all and end-all. However, I have no evidence that the Bible is true. As with all documents written a long time ago, you can never be sure who wrote them originally, and the Bible has undergone so many rewritings and translations, much meaning has been lost. Mistranscribed. I don't grammar, guys. Like, I mean, grammar is for plebs, okay, guys? So just bear with me for a minute.
Being an atheist is proven to make you gay and also have a lisp, but it's never been it's never been proven to be associated with proper grammar. It's true. So you know.
These things are all true. How then can I be sure what it says is true? Especially when there are other religions with other holy books proclaiming a different way of things. There's nothing wrong with that sentence at all, guys. Nothing. What they hold as truth was equal forever. Yes, it is the word of God, but how do I know it truly is? Basically, disregarding the Bible, what evidence is there to make...
God. You were so close.
What? You just had a few more words.
Stop.
Use the fedora power. Do it. You
Yeah.
can do it.
I believe in nothing. What evidence is there to make a claim for the question God's existence over any other religious god they see from England?
All right, so I just want to point out that this is clearly written by Jesus Christ, who moved to England after becoming a pseudo-atheist. It's very convenient.
Exactly, because Jesus really liked getting nailed.
That's not even.
Bwah,
That's
bwah,
not,
bwah, bwah. That's okay. I'm leaving. It's okay. I'm gonna drink my bleach now. Later, guys.
right. Yeah, kill yourself.
Yeah. I after that pun, yes.
All right. Before I respond to the rest of the email, the last statement actually needs to be dealt with first. I don't think it really does, though. Like the fact that that's the first part he wants to take apart, it's basically, it makes it seem like he's doing us a favor by even indulging the rest of the sentiment. He's basically focusing first on the fact that the Bible can be discarded, and he takes issue with that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to answer this guy's question. He just wants to
Invalidate the presumption that the Bible can be discarded.
Yeah. And just
which is
pick shit to
I can just see him behind his desk, right? Sorry, Emmy. What were you saying?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. He's sitting there behind his
I
desk.
am
And he gets
woman.
this...
I have no good ideas.
Oh, that's not.
Well, if it's any consolation, there's a good chance that the Bible was written mostly by men, so there's a good evidence that they don't have good ideas either.
Hey.
So,
Roasted.
Score one for women.
I would call that score one for.
That's probably score a little bit more than one. I'm just saying.
How many books in the Bible are there? The whole Quran and stuff, plus all the hadith.
Yeah,
that's all by men too. So,
or if you take the Septuagint version, which has extra books that aren't included in the regular King James. So yeah, or the books written by the Essenes. So I mean, you could be batting in the hundreds already.
Most societies are patriarchal, and most societies have religions. So that's probably in the millions. Really.
Most religions are actually inherently patriarchal, and actually use religion as a form of control. Talking about proper roles and stuff. And what makes them successful is they take a little bit of biological truth, right? The fact that we are a sexually dimorphic species and we have general biological roles when it comes to reproduction and raising children and all that shit, right? And then they use that as a justification for basically their whatever religious insert religious claim, right? Whether it be the Islamic one that women are half of the worth of a man, or the Christian patriarchies where wives have to submit to their husbands, whatever.
Which totally doesn't exist now. If you ask most modern Christians, they're like, "Nah, that was totally never a thing. Where are you getting all this? This is crazy."
Yeah, look, squirrel runs the other way.
Right. Yeah. All right. So we've gone off on a tangent, but
so many tangents.
But the next part that he's saying, which is what JC is trying to do here, like many Christians, is set the ground rules for debate. Many non-Christians will say
he's not totally just trying to ask a question because he's getting out of religion. No, he's trying to manipulate you like all the dirty atheists do, of course.
Right. He's basically, the author is insinuating that by leaving the Bible out of it to create a neutral framework for discussion, that he's actually creating a non-neutral framework. Because he says that, Christians stand on the word of God. It's our foundation. And everything we believe and how we live is based on what it says. But the problem is that it's only that because that book says that. Like, if the book said that it wasn't the framework by which you should live your life, then it wouldn't be an issue because, Christians could abandon it with ease and still argue for their God. But since all of their information about God generally, comes from this one book, then saying that, we
Well,
have
this-
to discuss it
This
without
book
said
says
book.
that I have to stand on this book as the foundation for my belief about this book. So
Right.
obviously, I have to, stand on this book.
it's impossible to argue from like from an external perspective without
Well,
getting
it's not
sucked
an
into a
external
circular
perspective.
argument.
It's taking it down to like a null position. Nothing like
Right.
it's not a neutral position. It's a null position. Like nothing is assumed. Nothing is proven. Right. It starts with with in this case. All right. It's what Matt Dillahunty does on the Atheist Experience all the time. You say you believe in God. What do you believe? Right. And then they list a few claims and he says, well, why do you believe that?
And it generally comes down to some feeling. Like it always resolves itself to well, it just makes me feel good, or it gives me hope, or something.
And that's not a bad
Where
thing.
this one is getting
No,
But it's
by no means.
You're pushing it on other people, and you're saying it's the objective truth, and that's
it's
the problem.
it's not a bad thing until it's
My subjective feeling about what you can do with your body is that you shouldn't be having sex outside of marriage because God doesn't like that.
Mhm.
And God's not going to bless this country if you do that. So
Yeah, and also
I'm going to
you
make
need-
that illegal so that I can get God's blessing for this country.
Yeah.
that's where the line is crossed. Or in schools, there's actually a bill in
Yes.
Texas. This is a thing I should probably bring up. They're trying to pass a bill in Texas. It's 885 R8796 KKA-F.
Banana, right?
Pretty much, it's Bill Banana, whatever. But basically, what it would allow is for the whole argument of we should teach the controversy. It basically allows the teachers to put their subjective interpretation of controversial claims, like it says evolution, abiogenesis, and climate change, basically. And it should allow teachers to give their own interpretations of it. That's where you're crossing the line.
Yeah, indoctrination of children in religion is one of the most reprehensible thing in religion, I would think. Is how they survive, really. That's the only way they can perpetuate their religion.
Right. And I would argue that it doesn't need to be furthered in school. It's kind of one of those things. Part of me supports the right for them to obviously indoctrinate their children however they want. But the state shouldn't have a hand in that whatsoever. The state shouldn't further the agenda of anyone in that regard whatsoever.
Unless it's harmful. Unless it's a harmful indoctrination, like a brainwashing cult type behavior, or like emotional abuse, or.
But you could probably argue the rabbit hole that there's no amount of indoctrination that's honestly healthy. However, there is an amount that can be overcome just with even the barest amount of criticism and leaning towards logical thought. So I mean, if you're exposed to I was raised in a fairly religious household in a very religious area. So the amount of science and just secularism that I was exposed to in school, even in my extremely religious area, is probably not as much as some were exposed to in other more, I don't know, I would say affluent areas that are a little bit more, open-minded. So the fact that I could come out of religion in general is probably more, pardon the pun, miraculous than maybe others. But the fact that I could do it is proof positive that there's not very much that reasoning can't lead you out of if that's your inclination. If the answers that religion give you aren't satisfactory, and then the ability to look for yourself and find something better is always there as an option. And
especially when we have the internet. It's how I learned all I know.
Same. I told my story on here, and basically I'm more isolated than anybody else, being homeschooled my whole life, and I still, did my research.
Reasoned yourself out of it.
Yeah, I assume it's kind of. Emmy, you're in school though, right? So it's a little different from my situation, but you looked up on the internet as well, right?
Yeah, watching videos mostly. Then it led to reading more. I still should read more, but
yeah, well, kind of gets that way. You watch a video and it sparks a question in your head, and you go back to double check, and then you kind of go down that rabbit hole of trying to answer that attack.
Yeah, it's one, and I started watching these channels with anti-feminist stuff, and then it kept recommending me anti-religious stuff, and I just couldn't not look at it. So I looked at it, and
That's the exact same thing that happened to me.
It was actually kind of the opposite for me. Like feminism and in the SJW movements, they were never something that really piqued my interest. Like I've always considered myself left leaning, and I always thought that the SJWs were just some, like, you know, moderately vocal minority in the left camp. I watched anti-religious and atheistic channels way before they started getting into the whole realm of anti-SJW rhetoric. But there's a lot of parallels in the sort of ideological mindset that they have. The, you know, listen and believe rhetoric that you hear, like it's all very much the same. It's all very dogmatic.
Circular logic and base assumptions. Fuck.
Yeah, they probably do that
Not
too.
cardinal sins. It's
but they have to do it in certain ways so as not to anger their gods.
Oh, true. Like only missionary or
you know, only with trans-abled people. I don't know, whatever the flavor of the month is.
Say do you consent every 2 seconds, but
right,
like anything. Yeah, like anything.
Original sin. That's what it is. Sorry, they both have original sin.
Patriarchy is the SJW original sin now. It's like,
are you born with a dick and balls?
Right.
See daisies.
White
You're
cis,
oppressing everybody else.
White cis male is the original sin.
Oh, it's funny. I think the Christians got one better on them, and that's, were you born at all? Whoopsies. Original sin.
That's true. That is true. Absolutely.
Well, feminism is an ideology like anything else, and people can be indoctrinated into it as well. So.
Right, and I would say, just like any other religion or ideology, there are beneficial aspects to it. Like, you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's not to say that obviously men and women aren't equal. It's not to say that the moral structure of Christianity is all wrong. The Old Testament, I could say, is pretty much all wrong. That you could literally take out like 6 out of 10 of the commandments and we'd still be the functionally same society that you know now. Let's get back on point.
The tangent. Okay, where were we?
Right. Let's see. I'm actually trying to find that out because I don't really want to read the whole article, because like this first part, he's literally just dissecting why.
And then he has also there's these 2 whole letters from other people. Just keep up the great work, guys. I love your materials. Oh my god, your DVDs and on-demand videos make me so wet. Oh.
That is an accurate portrayal of exactly what was said. I think that was word for word in there. That is accurate. Accuracy, that's what you come for. Accuracy. So, Christ, in whom are hidden all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. I tell you this so that no one may deceive you by fine-sounding arguments. That's
like, oh, these arguments may sound logical and better, but no. Just
trust us, they're not.
But that's the thing. It insulates from criticism by saying, literally, you can't criticize this, and if you hear an argument that sounds good, just know that somehow it's wrong. You have to know how it's wrong, even if it sounds really good and they have all the facts to support them. Doesn't matter, because you read this book in which it says they're wrong somehow. It's fair enough. Fair enough. Point to Jesus. Good job, Jesus.
Christ also made clear the myth of neutrality when he said, "He who is not with me is like totally against me." Matthew 12:30 and Luke 11:23. If we agree with the skeptic when he says to leave the Bible out of it for the sake of intellectual neutrality, then the moment we do, we are no longer with Christ, but have instead joined the skeptic and are actually posing ourselves against Christ and his word. Oh snap! Well, this is where you're falling into the whole Ken Ham. There's really only 2 positions, guys. Black and white.
Jesus and Satan.
Yeah, it's either either you're an evolutionist or you're a Christian.
Which
Yeah, they're
which
saying
evolution is the same as Satan. I mean, so
Basically,
you know,
Yeah, they're
we're
saying this
demons.
us versus them mentality is built into their religion.
Well, it is. Jesus basically said
And
if you
supported.
he had this. There's a line, you know, if you're sitting on, you can't sit on the fence, right? A house if I shoot, it was a Sermon from the Mount. I don't know the direct quote, but he basically says, if you don't serve me, or my house, you're serving the enemy. Basically, you're not. You can't be one or the other. So basically, the Christians have this whole idea that if you don't actively back Christianity, you are actively backing secularism,
That's
aka the devil.
Okay.
yeah, concisely put. Fuck them indeed. Fuckers playing word magic. And then he goes on. It looks like the author goes on to just.
Oh, here's what I was bitching about. Yeah, here's what I was bitching about in the beginning. The whole. I used to be a devoted Christian, attending church regularly, and have been confirmed. Excuse me, attending church and being confirmed does not define what a Christian is, though it may define a religious person.
Oh no, if you're
The
Catholic,
Bible tells us plainly what defines a Christian.
Clearly, Christians and Catholics are from opposite worlds. I hate that they're drawing a schism between the right type of Christian. You know what I mean? Like there's a dichotomy between what constitutes a religious person with a Christian person. It's very clearly this whole no true Scotsman thing. Well, clearly you're not the right kind of Christian since you were just a Catholic.
yeah, there are some religious people that I've seen that are like this guy, and the only sect is theirs, and that's the only religion that's true. But there are some people that say that any religion is better than being an atheist. I'm not going to name any
Universal
names, but
Unitarians.
escaping atheism.
Right.
Shots fired. Oh,
And
snap.
yeah, that's
How can you escape a position of just non-belief? It's like I don't escape leprechaunism. I don't know. I don't identify as a person who believes in leprechauns. But if I ever started believing in leprechauns, I wouldn't go
atheism
around.
is a religion. Shh. Atheism is a religion. Shh. It's okay.
We have all read the one book that tells us how to be atheist.
It's the Atheist Manifesto by Daddy Christopher Hitchens.
I would recommend reading Lawrence Krauss's
I was just thinking
Universe from Nothing.
Lawrence Krauss. I love me some Lawrence Krauss. That
Good
guy,
stuff.
That guy is and he's a Jew too.
All the best scientists are. You heard it here first, folks. Jews make the best science.
They do. It's funny. The Jews, as soon as they reject God, they become some of the smartest people out there.
Until then, they just have funny hats.
It's a funny hats and weird beards and like. Well, even then, they're like the most dedicated like religion. Like these are like they take their shit seriously. They're like super freaking scholarly. Like when it comes to their religion. Like it you have to fucking become a PhD in zoology to become a Jew.
Hashtag Jewology for the masses. Love it. Jesus. Nah, I'm just kidding. All right. That if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, which I don't, you will be saved, which I'm not. For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified, and it is with your mouth that you confess and are saved. Thank you, Romans, who also killed Jesus.
With your mouth?
That is the best way to do things, generally, with your mouth. That's truth. Thanks, Bible, for giving us truth. By their fruit, you will recognize them. If they have great fruit, they are bastards. Kill them all. Everyone knows that grapefruit is the worst fruit.
What if they're kiwis?
well, then they're clearly from New Zealand, and then it's okay as long as the kiwis are ripe.
So that's kosher.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm fairly certain kiwis are kosher.
Not even sure.
It's okay. It's not haram to eat kiwi.
Oh, cool. It's good to know. Good to know. I can eat out of kiwi. Okay.
But the fruit of the spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Self-control is super important. Control
I have to
yourself.
agree with that one. Sun Tzu said it first, though. Just saying.
Sun Tzu in The Art of
Sun
War.
Tzu, The Art of War, Supreme Control, something. I don't know. He had a line about. He had a line about that. I don't know. I can quote the one about like know your enemy and blah 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 blah. But you know, I should go reread that book. It was good. It was stellar. It was really good.
The Bible's an alright book. Like I don't know, but it has a lot of plot holes. That's my problem with it. It just I don't know. The narrative needs structure.
Oh, and then down here, like at the bottom, this part really ticked me off when I read it. It's the I could have quoted much more from the New Testament. God alone is who defines a Christian. He does so in his word. Christians are not defined by rituals or traditions.
What does this have to do with anything?
We're getting to it. We're getting to it.
Because
that being religious doesn't make you a Christian. No, but this one little line. So back to the original letter. It's, however, since doing the exams, no, it's a, yeah. I have questioned my beliefs, resulting in my denouncement of God. Since you have denounced the belief in God, it is clear that you never truly believed in His word, nor stood on it as your foundation. This is another example of how, when we stop using God's word as our foundation, and then use man's autonomous reasoning as a foundation, we crumble spiritually.
I know most atheists that are converts were very strict and hardcore religious people.
Yeah, like me personally, like my family is hardcore Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Very much alike.
I've watched videos of his church. They're very hardcore.
Oh yeah, they are very hardcore. You know, if anything, like our foundation was pretty much primarily the gospel, like. But I mean, I kind of feel like there is some merit to that because, like, for me personally, I don't feel that I ever really bought into it completely. Like, I always tried to justify it, but like, I was always, whenever anybody else would tell me something about this, I'd be like, yeah, sure. Like, you know that how? And I'd always question them and ask for their reasoning behind it. And, you know, I would accept the Bible as a reason, right? Being a Christian, but I would make them like theologically prove everything they said, which isn't the same as logically prove it, but theologically prove it. And
well, I totally bought into everything. And I feel like the more you know about the more you know about your faith, the more susceptible you are to not believing in it after a while, since you know all the ins and outs and the flaws in it.
The contradictions become more self-evident, like the more you know. The more you know.
Yeah, because I know like some people that are half into it and they can just believe it because they don't know the bad stuff. They only know the good stuff and
it's the cultural
morality of it. Yeah, the cultural
they
too.
read a lot of the gospel, a lot of the New Testament, a lot of the feel goods. They go to their prayer meetings, their worship sessions where they play really awesome emotional music and make this
religious
like experience. What?
Religious music is horrible. Yeah.
It sucks ass. It really does.
Since you have denounced a belief in God, it is clear you never truly believed His word, nor stood on it as your foundation. This is another example of how, when we stop using God's word as our foundation, and then use man's autonomous reasoning as a foundation, we crumble spiritually. So basically, what they're saying is that you were never a true Christian because you fell away from Christianity. Once you're in, you're in. We're like the Bloods. The only way to leave is by dying.
No, you can't even leave. Like Oh no! After you die, the story's only begun. Now we're gonna either send you to heaven or hell. Like you don't get away from it ever, even after you die. You're either gonna go to hell to be tortured forever, or go to heaven to be tortured forever.
That's right. I hope you really like MXPX. That's all they got up there.
Toby Mac all day, every day, for eternity.
Yeah, heaven is supposed to be nonstop praising God.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Start peeling my skin now, please.
But then here, in this next part is what kind of just infuriated me too. Like he doesn't even like look at this. He goes, the guy asked the question. My main reason for this is I cannot find any proof to verify his existence. When I ask people, they always refer me to the Bible as a be all and end all. And the guy's answer to this like quandary is that's because it is the end all and be all. Like fuck your question.
Well, there you go.
Episode's over. Justifying it being the end all and be all. The be all and end all. Like you can't just assert it. Like that's the point. It's being asserted as we want to like know. The one thing they'll never do is prove the Bible.
Right. That
is... See, the Bible proves God, but they won't prove the Bible.
Well, it's because it says that it is, so it is, right? You know what I mean? Like, you know.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot.
So
yeah.
I mean, like that good circular argument that just goes on, turtles all the way down.
Mr. David Wright. We weren't asking for another book. We weren't asking for a book at all. We were asking for a logical or scientific or philosophical proof of God.
Yeah, he totally
but what did you do?
Because he has nothing.
What did you do? You spat in the guy's face, called him not a true Christian. You demeaned his sense of reason and logic.
You made Zhao
him. You pissed me the fuck off. But that's a separate.
Isn't that every day though? I don't think that's because of him.
Oh, that may be true.
No, we're blaming him today.
Just let this guy take the fall.
It's convenient. It's convenient.
This is my character. Like it's part of what I do.
Don't lie. Whatever.
I'm deep inside. I'm a really emotional teddy bear.
I can see you sitting at a breakfast table eating oatmeal and just being like, "God damn, Ken Ham."
That's accurate, actually.
I had a feeling.
I make ramen noodles at like 1 o'clock in the morning and just like watch Ken Ham videos and just like let the rage smolder inside me. Just like curse you for fucking up my life, Ken Ham. Fuck you.
All right, but let me logic at you for just a second. The question stated in the title, which is horribly misleading as the article doesn't try to even really answer it, is can we prove God without the Bible? If you took the word God and replaced it with evolution, and you replaced the word Bible with evidence, science could at least give you an answer. Can we prove evolution without evidence? No, we can't. That would be the answer. We can't. It wouldn't even be a theory at that point. It would be like, at best, a hypothesis that is most likely never going to evolve into anything theoretical. However, when asked a similar question in a similar way, can we prove God without the Bible? The best they can do is, the Bible is God. Shut up about it. It's like...
He totally avoided the question because he can't answer it. Because if he does answer it, which the answer is no, it won't be good for him. And
if he
that answers, is an understatement.
Wait a minute, but if the answer is yes, you realize that he then negates.
He would have to support. Well, he would also have to provide said evidence, which is.
Well, he has to provide said evidence, but also then it means the Bible isn't like the only source of understanding God. You could come to understand there is a God without the Bible. I mean, most philosophers, most theologians will say, yes, you can come to understand there is a God without the Bible.
Which is why the Hindu totally believe in the same God
without the Bible.
And you can't prove, you can't say there's a God, the Christian God without the Bible.
Right.
So.
Oh, right. Yeah. There's no shortage of gods.
Yeah. I have there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There are quite a few.
There's so many gods, probably everybody could have their own personal God.
That's why I say worship Thoth. Thoth is the best because he had the head of an ibis, and that's a neat thing to have.
He also was the god of wisdom and shit and books. So that's pretty
And
cool.
magic, and also
magic. Oh yeah, and magic. Yeah.
Because
Well,
in
like,
Egypt,
books
knowledge
were magic.
knowledge and magic are the same thing, and I can get behind that idea. Like, you know what? Knowledge is magic. Knowledge is power. Thank you, Schoolhouse Rock or whatever. For
That's a pretty good note
giving
to
me
end it on.
magic.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Is it though?
There's a lot more rants than usual.
I have pent up issues. I have
So do you guys want to do a shorter one that's not an article? Because I feel like this one's
That'd be
gonna,
cool.
even in its
articles
be
trigger
long.
me. I've been triggered.
Yeah, that was super long.
Fair enough.
It was super long.
Yeah.
Before we do another one though, I gotta go shit. So I will be back later. Like in 5 minutes.
All right.